So we're going to start moving from our feet up through the body exactly as we've done every week. So I'm giving my toes a little wiggle. I'm admiring my toes today. But they do look like duck feet, to be fair, but very wide feet. And imagining there's a little lift in your ankles, and those lifts are going up through your legs. And as they go through your legs, you're feeling that sense of lengthening and tall, feeling tall. They pass all the way through your center, up each rib, out to your ears, out of your ears, and your head is almost hovering like it's full of helium. So it's not a really forced feeling of tallness. It's just a feeling of your heels being in the floor, and then your shoulders being gently encouraged down into the base of the spine. Just drop your chin slightly so it feels like it's on a little shelf, and feel that, like that moment of suspension, standing exactly as we feel we should be. Very nice. So whilst we're stood there just like that, we're going to take control of our belt today. So pulling in that belt as tight as you can, squeezing as tight as you possibly can, so you can barely get your breathing out, and then let it go about 50%, and then let it go a little bit more. Feel how that feels, and then let it go. Relax the glutes, give your hips a little shake. Bum's nice and soft, belly's nice and soft. Then finding that moment of length. Lengthening, think about the lengthening coming up the back of your head, so the top of your neck, just as if there's a lovely hand, just like I'm brushing the back of my head and feeling that length. Shoulders are being drawn down, pulling your belt in as tight as you can, right to that tightest notch. And then when you get to the tightest one, pull it in another one. Oh yeah, squeeze, and let it go about 50%. And then about another 20%. And really just let your body feel what that feels like. Try not to let your shoulders go in towards your ears. Try and let them be heavy and long. Okay, good. So then we're going to send our focus in towards our pelvic floor. So thinking of your pelvic floor being a lift. Again, so we're traveling through the center of the body this time. So squeezing like you need a wee. Squeeze all the way to the very, very top floor, up to that penthouse suite. Check out the views. Then let it go to about halfway down. Little tiny bit more. Feel how that feels. And then let it go. Notice how your center will want to relax as well. That's absolutely fine. It's really hard to think of the both. So again, we're going to go back to the pelvic floor. So squeezing. Really find it all the way to the top. You'll feel that belt buckle tightening as well. That's all good. It's all working in the same area. And then let it go 50%, and then down to about 30%, 25-30%. Good. So know what that feels like. Just give your toes a little wiggle. Give your jaw a little wiggle too, because that's where that tension is going to be held. Give your fingers a wiggle too, don't forget those. So we just take some very gentle gazes around your room. Try and relax your glutes if you can, your bum. Try and relax your bum. And don't be worried if you relax your bum if you feel like, well, I can't hold my pelvic floor very well if I don't squeeze my bum. That's all right. The pelvic floor is doing what it's doing. That's okay. You're just training the body to release tension and let the smart bit inside your body to do all the work for you without having to think too hard. Make that your last one. And then a gentle looking up and down. So we're really taking in the room with these ones. So not over looking up. So not letting your head drop all the way back and not letting your chin quite get to your chest. Make this the last one. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to take a nice deep breath in. Arms are going to rise above as you breathe in. Like so. And as we breathe out, I'm dropping one hand and I'm doing a nice side stretch today. Heels are into the floor, lifting gently, trying to make some space between that ear and shoulder. And coming back to the center as you let that arm float down. We do the same thing, so breathe in. Don't let your shoulders go up if you can. Let the arm go down. And just going with it. Nice heavy head, as if you're being dangled by this hand, as if some handsome person's got hold of you and they're saving you. I don't know where that came from. Who knows today, quite honest. We come back to the center. I'm going to do another one of those. So nice deep breath in. Really feel those lungs. Heels are nicely pressing in towards the floor. Hand goes down. tipping over without letting that hip go out today if you can. So not quite the banana stretch we were doing last time. More of a lengthening stretch, but without lifting your shoulder. And back down. One more of those. Breathing in. Nice lengthening. Relax those glutes. And tipping over. Stretch, lengthen. This fingertips are reaching towards the floor. This one's reaching up and over. Relax. And back down. Oh, that was loud. Okay, and just give your bum a little wiggle. Ooh. You can feel it. Whenever I'm saying to you, relax your glutes, it's because that's what I'm having today to do. So every time I'm giving you a little pointer, it's because I'm thinking of it for myself. So we're going to move into some other little spiral bits today. So a lot of the stuff we're doing today is just about getting a bit of mobility in your spine and some nice spirals and twists. So I'm going to use this term like the ringing sensations. You know, like if you're wringing out a wet cloth or a flannel. So it's that feeling of a ringing sensation. So I'm going to take my hands, fingertips behind my ears. Be careful that your elbows are not sad, they're happy, awake elbows. Take a nice deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we're keeping my hips facing towards you and I'm just spiraling as far as I can comfortably go, take my line with it. And then breathing in when I've got to my furthest point and breathing out, coming back to center. Okay, same thing on the other side. So breathing in, think about that belt buckle, breathing out to twist. Think about that pelvic floor, shoulders are down. Take a breath there. And breathe out to come to center. So you're going to keep doing a few more of those in your own time. We all breathe differently. Think about really where that action is coming from. Can you pinpoint it in your mind? Can you feel like you're wringing out your spine a little bit? So it's not overly forced. It's not lots of water in the flannel, it's just a little bit. Just a little squeeze. Nice and controlled. Shoulders are relaxed. We'll do one more on each side. Pulling that belt buckle right in. Squeezing it as it comes around. One more. Pulling that pelvic floor up too. And back to center. And relax your arms, give them a second, give your shoulders a little roll. Good. I'm going to do one more similar. Well, we're going to do some side crunches. Oh, that was very dancing, wasn't it? So I'm going to tip over to one side. And as I breathe out, I'm coming back to center. So it's nice and simple. And coming back to center. But I want you to think, just keep going like that. I want you to think of the action coming from here. So as you come up, imagine it's this rib that's pulling you up to your point of where you want to be, stood up nice and tall. So imagine it's coming from here. So this is really starting to get your core nice and engaged, just waking it up. And remember, like I always say, your core is really smart. It doesn't generally need to be engaged because otherwise you wouldn't be able to stand up. But what we're doing is we're just giving it a little bit of an extra kick. Do one more on each side actually. So just saying hiya. How are you today? This is especially good if you've been sat at a desk. Okay, that's your last one. Give your shoulders a roll. So we're going to take it into a shoulder roll. So I'm going to do one shoulder roll. Fingertips to elbows, nice big rib opener. Arms go all the way down. And today we're going to go down into that nice squat. So we've spent a lot of work on this. Pushing my bum back. I'm just widening my feet there. So don't be afraid if you get into that and you think, that's not right. Your feet are too close. Your feet are too wide. And then pressing away. To come up, and again, shoulders, elbows, arms, and then sending my bottom really far back and my fingertips are reaching towards you, chin is tucking in, and you should be able to wiggle your toes. So everything is in your heels, and you're almost counterbalancing from your fingernails to your butt cheeks. And then as you push up, you press through the heels. Really strong into those legs. Good. I'm going to do it now on the side. You stay where you are. It's just so you can really get that shape. So I'm doing shoulders, Elbows, you can have a little bounce there if you're feeling it today. Arms, I'm pressing all the way back, sending my bum as far back as I can, testing my balance. I'm wiggling my toes when I'm down there to really make sure my weight is where it should be, and there's a nice gap between my knees. Same gap between my knees as there is between my ankles and my toes. Pressing the floor away and pushing through my heels. And just to stand up where you want to be stood. Be careful that we start doing this, which becomes a bit of a thing, especially if you will go to the gym or you see it on fitness videos. I don't really know why they do that to us. You just need to stand up. So shoulders, elbows, arms, nice deep squat. Take a few breaths. Chin is in, arms are lengthened, shoulders are down. Toes are wiggling. Breathing in, breathing out, pressing through the heels. Nice, we'll do one more. Little bounce. Sending that tail back as far as I can. Wiggly, wiggly toes. Shoulders are away from my ears, looking down towards my mat, and then pressing through the heels, breathing in, breathing out. Oh, yes, I'm feeling warm now. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. We're not going to spend any more time stood up today. I'm going to go straight down onto the mat. So we're going to do our usual roll down because we know it's a goodie, and I know we all know what we're doing. So I'm taking a nice, I'm just taking this little shoulder roll whilst I'm here. So get yourself ready. Find that alignment. Think about that lift going up through the body. Think about the lift in your pelvic floor. Think about that slight squeeze of the belt. Just to find that place where you want to be. Relax your glutes, softening the knees. Take a breath in. And we're rolling down. So as I breathe out, I drop my chin towards my chest. My head is all of a sudden as heavy as a bowling ball. Really feel that. I mean, I was going to say this is the first time I've done a roll down today. It's not actually, about 85th time. But I can really feel it. And then when I get there, imagining there's a nice cup of tea just on the base of my spine, that cup of tea that I'm saving until 5 minutes past 9. I gently put my knees on the floor and I'm taking 3 presses. So I'm breathing in, breathing out, pushing the floor away. And in. And out. And in. And out. Then reversing the motion. So squeezing that belt in to keep my center nice and still, until I get into that lovely forward stretch, dropping the chin on the chest, and slowly uncurling through the spine. Now, we've all done this exercise before. Some of us have done it lots of times before. So do feel free to modify it if you'd like to go a little bit faster, or you like to do a full press up when you get down there, then please do. So absolutely work at your own speed. So you could be here and you could keep your knees off the floor, for example. So I'm breathing in, I'm sending my nose forwards. I'm pushing through my heels, but my hands to come up. My fingers are really splayed. Pulling that belt buckle in as I push the floor away using my breath. Then squeezing in again to be nice and still as I transfer to each hand to get to that lovely forward stretch. Thinking of the spine as a bike chain, one vertebra at a time. This is, for me, the most important part of this exercise is actually the roll down. It's something we don't do often enough, and it's really good for general mobility, and it just feels really nice, in my opinion. So we're going to do 2 more in your own time. So if you're going a little bit faster, obviously you might squeeze more than 2 in. Breathing in, pushing away. Now, as always, I like to do a tricep dip, but that's actually more space allowing than anything else. Squeezing my belt in as I take myself back. You might like to take a moment in that forward bend. I'm really, really making sure that the head is the very last thing to come up. So this is going to be my last one. When you're on your last one, then you don't need to come back into a full standing position. You're just going to take yourself back into a nice child's pose. So really easy on the way out. Here we go. Oh, it's hardcore today. I'm going to relax my toes, put my big toes together and separate my knees and just really enjoy having a nice stretch there. So I'm taking my forehead towards the mat, taking my fingertips for a gentle walk, and I like to give my hips a little wiggle. You might like to be still. Don't be afraid to be wiggly. It's all what you feel you need to take. Take a nice deep breath in, really fill your lungs and really breathe it all out. And again, big breath in. Really expand, 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 and then breathe out. Okay, you are very welcome to stay there whilst I demonstrate the next exercise, if you can see and if that's comfortable. So we're going to do 2 exercises in our box position today, and both of them are new to you, new to me. Okay, so the first one is, like I said, there's a lot of this feeling of spiraling of the spine. I'm going to take my hand behind my ear, and I'm lifting my elbow up towards the ceiling as I breathe in, and down to elbow to breathe out. Breathing in and lifting my elbow up. Looking up as I go and breathing out. So join in when you're ready. We're thinking of that nice still pelvis. So we're keeping that cup of tea. Ready for 9:05. My cup of decaf. God, I love a cup of decaf. I absolutely love it. I can't wait for my cup of decaf after this. So when I'm talking about my cup of tea, I'm being deadly serious right now. And you will find that it might feel quite awkward. Wow, you will maybe feel like I can't spiral as much as I even half I thought I could. That's okay. Just don't force it. We're going to do one more. And breathe out. Just going to swap hands. So exactly the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to shift myself a little bit so I don't take out most of the contents of my ornaments over here. So fingertips behind the ear. I'm breathing in, lifting my elbow up. I'm taking my eye line with it. So I'm seeing the things that I have in my bookcase. Elbow to come down. And I'm looking over my shoulder on that way. So you've got to use your eye line because that's really important. Also, it takes away a bit of the focus of what you're feeling in the rest of your body. So really see. So I'm going at quite a steady pace. This might be a little bit faster for you. You might like to go a little bit slow. It might just be right. I'm squeezing that belt in, that little notch. Thinking about that cup of tea. Obsessing about it now, obviously. We've got to this stage. I'm going to do one more. For me, this side feels a lot nicer, and I don't know if it's because we've done it on the other side and my lower back is now going, oh yeah, I get it now. Or what? Who knows? So I'm relaxing both hands down. I'm just going to take a little sit back and a little rock into my hips. So I'm not taking my head all the way down. I'm just releasing the lower part of the back, giving it a bit of a, thanks for that. That was good. So whatever you like to do, little rock, little curve. Okay, we're going to do one more exercise on the floor. So I'm back up to my box shape. So it's like our cat exercise that we're going to do on the corner. So I'm going to take my fingers. Imagine there's a lovely arc in front of you. I'm going to take my fingers for a little walk around the arc, but I've got to leave my hips and my knees where they are. So I get to my comfortable place. I take a breath in and I arch in the back. And then breathing out to reverse the motion. This is the one that I was doing earlier when I was chatting to Nick when I was practicing. And I went, oh, this feels different. So I'm going all the way up, so tilting that pelvis, dropping my chin towards the chest, and then really letting it go. That's good. So we're going to do 2 more of those. And I'm really thinking about breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we're going to do 4, when you come back to center, we're going to do 4 little rocks. So I'm sending my bum back and back up and back and up. 2 more. And up. And 1 more. And up. Very nice. So I'm going to follow that arc and I'm going to take my hands round to the other side. So I personally am going to need to shift a little bit on my mat, as we know I haven't got huge mat space, as far as I can go. So you can make your arc as wide or as long as you feel comfortable doing. Hopefully you're not restricted with space like me today. So I take a nice deep breath in. And as I breathe out, I send that belly button up towards the ceiling. Dropping the chin on the chest, breathing in. So I'm really getting into that stretched rib cage, breathing, that's it, breathing out. And again, breathing in. So really nice, I quite like this one. It's a bit different to our usual. And it certainly feels quite nice, but for me, I think it feels quite nice. And out. Make that one your last one. Come back to your neutral spine. And then we're going to do these little pushbacks. So pushing back and pushing forwards. So we're just getting a little bit of movement in the hips. Something a bit different. Couple more of those. Nice deep breath, breathing in and out. As we go. Okay, and then just coming back to your center space very carefully, adjusting as you need to, and then once more just sitting back a little bit, having a little rock, doing whatever you need to do. So we're going to go down and do some leg action now. And if you could have your cushion and your book, we're going to, use both. So have a drink as well. It's a good time to have a drink. I've got my nice cushion. I'm going to start on this side. I changed the lighting today. I think it's better. Seems less like, stop! It's so sugar cubey in my house. You know when you just paint everything white because you've got like 3 minutes to paint an entire house. Okay. So I've got just 2 exercises on your legs today. You're probably supposed to know. So I'm going to start absolutely comfy. I think we'll just do 2. Yeah. So I'm going to go like this, nice and comfy. I'm putting my hand across my tummy like a seat belt. Now I'm going to adjust myself so my bum is towards the back of my mat. And that's because today your feet are together. I've got my seat belt here. And I'm just going to bring my legs to about a 45-degree angle. So you get like a little crease in your hip. So we're not dead straight today. We're just like so. Then this leg on the top, I'm going to turn it out a little bit. So I'm trying to turn it so my knee starts being encouraged towards the ceiling. Okay, it's you can already feel it in here. It feels really weird. So only go to the point. Don't force it. Just get to that point and go, okay, it's definitely knees are not pointing in the same direction. Definitely knee on top is going towards the ceiling, but might not be direct. That's okay. And staying in that turned out position, I'm taking my foot forwards and sweeping back. And forward. And sweeping back. So we've done an exercise like this a couple of times before. But this is obviously just a bit different because the position of the legs, both in the angle that they are in terms of them being that 45-degree angle, and that one on the top where the knee is pointing towards the ceiling. Now I like to have my pointy foot, but that's just the dancer in me. So don't worry too much about what your foot's doing because it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. But you'll notice that here on the way down, it's going to be working your center. On the way back, it's working your bum a little bit. So we're going to do 4 more. That's it. So nice and relaxing the upper half of the body. Try and keep your shoulders down. Try and relax your jaw. That's all right for me because I'm talking all the time. But I'm sure you're probably feeling it in your jaw. You're concentrating. Okay, that's your last one. So without resting your leg today, I just want you to, we're going to do some little circles. Today's circles are about the size of a dinner plate. Okay, no balls today. Dinner plates today. So you'll feel especially if you can keep in that nice turned out position where we're encouraging your, yeah, oh yeah, that feels different, with your knee going towards the ceiling. And then send it back the other way. So wash the dinner plate with your big toe. That's it. Keep that hand here. That's it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, rest your feet, bend your knees. Okay, so we're just going to do some nice easy leg raises from here. So I'm bringing my knees in at like a tabletop position but on the floor. Knees are together. Now this is where you could, if you wanted to add a little bit of extra oomph, I'm going to put Tina on my leg. So Tina's going to go here and I'm going to use her almost like a little bit of a weight. Okay, now that'll either feel, yeah, cool, I'm getting a bit of extra action here, or it'll feel like you'd rather chop your leg off. If it feels like you'd rather chop your leg off, then maybe remove the book from your leg. It's just an extra option today. Now that turned out position that we have been using before is going to make this feel really intense really quickly. So you could start it with the book and then change your mind. That's absolutely fine. Okay. So there's a feeling of like, oh, like a ringing feeling, but deep within your thigh. Then that's fine. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Just give your legs a little stretch. Oh, that's it. Do whatever you need to do. Give them a squeeze. Okay, so that's why we're only doing 2 leg exercises today, because they're leg exercises from hell. So I'm very slowly going to sit myself up. So like always, take your time. And today, instead of sitting crossed legs, we're going to sit with our legs out to the side. Okay, so have your cushion nearby. You're going to need that in a second. You see me? Yeah, just fell. I'll sit back there. So you don't have to have your legs as wide as me. The point is that you are having them as straight as possible. If it's uncomfortable to sit like this, then use your book to sit on, or use your cushion to sit on. So whatever feels best for you. But you want to have your knees pointing towards the ceiling, your feet relaxed on the end. So we're going to do what we were doing stood up earlier on. So I'm going to take my fingertips behind my ears. I take a nice deep breath in, and I tip over. And then as I breathe out, I'm lifting up through that rib. And the other way, so breathing in, tipping over. Nice tip, and coming up. Now as you keep going, I'm just going to keep talking through it. So you want to not collapse. You want to feel like you're lifting as you're tipping and then coming up. So like a lovely teapot. Oh, we've got a theme today. A nice teapot, a gentle pour of the teapot. You don't want it all to come sploshing out. I'm going to do one more on each side. So gentle pour and then lifting, stacking yourself back up in the center. Watch where your shoulders are going. And again, very nice, and relax the arms like so. Give the shoulders a little bit of a rub round the back if you need to. So just need to make sure that you're sitting right on your sitting bones so you're not doing bits. Grab your cushion. We're just going to have a very gentle stretch moving forwards. So I've got that cushion there because it just feels more comforting. So you're just going to have your cushion and leaning, relaxing into it. If you're fabulously flexible and you can keep going, then please do. But it's just a gentle lean forward. I want you to drop your chin towards your chest, soften in your knees, so don't dead straight. Bring your feet closer together if you need to. Relax your knees and just wiggle your bum. So you're trying to get if you had a tail, imagine you were sat on your tail and you're trying to let it out, let it escape so it can stand nice and tall. So we're really thinking about that tailbone standing nice and tall. Take a nice deep breath and breathe out. And again, nice deep breath in and breathe out. We're going to take one more of those, and this time when you breathe out, I want you to imagine that your head is that bowling ball again. And just let it go a little bit. Try to not let your shoulders ride into your ears. Try to pull them down. Try relaxing your hips. Give your hips a wiggle. Release that tail. Let it stand tall. Don't worry if your knees are bending. Just getting a little bit of different movement today. And then very gently just stacking yourself back up. So taking your time to find a nice tall sitting position, sitting as tall as you can. Breath in and a nice breath out. Okay, so bring those knees together and we'll do your leggy bits on the other side. So, taking my cushion, I'm taking Tina, because Tina's having a ride on my leg today. She didn't get sat on. I didn't want her to feel left out. So, I'm going down onto my side, getting myself comfortable. I'm getting my bum as close to the back. Oh, that's a bit nice. I'm getting myself as close to the back as I can, and then hinging my hips, bring my feet round to about a 45-degree angle, and then very good, excellent. So I'm the top leg. On this side, I have barely any rotation. So don't worry if you think I can't even do that. I'm a dancer and I find this, I have very, very limited mobility in my hips. So this shouldn't be something which you find very, very easy. It should be a bit challenging. But just find that slight little inch, little half an inch, a centimetre, a millimetre, whatever it is. And then I'm just sending it forwards and brushing it back. Sending it forwards as far as I can and brushing it back. So really bringing it forward, finding that action in the front of your core. And then as it sends back, we're working into the glute and opening your hip. So breathing in and out. And in and out. So think about that shape. Where's that knee pointing? Yeah. 3 more. And then I'm getting Tina out. Last one. Now, if you can, bring those feet together without them touching. If you can. If you need to rest them, you carry on and rest them. Do whatever you need to do. I'm drawing my feet into that tabletop position. My hips are stacked. I'm getting Tina. She's going for a ride. So I'm lifting and lowering. I'm not letting my knees meet. I'm making sure there's about, I would say like a grapefruit size between my knees. That's as close as I let them get. So lifting and lowering, and like before, you're probably feeling it already. I definitely am. So don't worry if you need to take away the extra weight if you're using it. Please do rest if it's too much. There's that tiny difference between, oh gosh, that's really, I can really feel my muscles working there, and just thinking, no, I hate that. That feels horrible. It feels horrible. Don't do it. Like burpees. I mean, who likes burpees? Literally nobody. Or star jumps for that matter. So if ever I was asked to do those, I'd just go, no, you're all right. I don't want to. So I'm going to do 4 more. 4. Watch those shoulders. 3, 2. Last one. Ooh. And rest. Thank you, Tina. She weighed more than I thought. I'm sure she won't mind me saying. Okay, give that a little rub. We're going to go straight onto our backs now to do a little bit of stuff on our backs. So, you can rest up. Just get onto your back. Put your feet flat on the floor and have a little rock and a roll. Let your hips relax. Or stretch your legs away. Let's have a full body stretch. I feel like I could do with a full body stretch after all that. There's a lot of action on the hips. So I was researching this week for us stuff to do with the hips, because I felt like we hadn't really done a huge amount of hip stuff. So That's what we've gone for today. I hope you can feel it in your hips. I can. I hope it's a good feeling. Right, okay. I like to have my cushion underneath my head. As you know, I feel like it gives me a really good feeling of letting my rib cage relax down towards the mat. You might not feel like you need it, but I like it, and it makes me feel more comfy. So I've got lovely tram lines that I'm in from my big toe all the way through, ankles, knees, hips, along the rib cage at the top of my head. Beautiful tram lines. So where you can look down the body and it's that grapefruit size space gap that's between my knees, and it's going to be the same between my ankles. I'm just going to today let my fingers, my wrists roll so that my knuckles are down towards the floor. And then as you do that, it's such a relaxing, it's a tiny detail, and it really lets you relax. Relax in your pelvis and let that natural curve in the spine appear. And just feel that gravity holding you, suspending you. If you rock your knees from side to side, you can really feel where that suspension is. And then let that gentle rocking motion just melt away a little bit. We're going to start thinking about the placement now we're lying down. So we think about our Bermuda triangle. So pubic bone to your hip bones, that lovely triangle. So now the cup of tea is on the Bermuda triangle. But just to have a little play, we're going to tip the point of the triangle down towards the mat and then tip it up so it's pointing towards the ceiling. So I'm tipping it down, the pubic bone point is tipping down, and then I'm rocking and curling my pelvis to really fold it up. So just have a few tips like that. Breathing in, breathing out. Really feeling what that feels like, and just let those tips get smaller. Let them melt away until you feel like your lovely pubic area, pubic bone to your hip bone to your Bermuda triangle, pubic area, didn't mean to say that, is lovely and flat. And I've got my cup of tea. So we're going to do the dead bugs today. I don't know why they're called dead bugs. I suppose you look like a dead bug, except you're moving, which will make you very dead. So I'm taking my feet to tabletop. Remember, you can always keep one foot on the floor if you want to support your lower back. One foot goes up, I breathe in, and breathe out to take the other. So this might be enough for you. If you want to include the arms as well, I take my arms above my head, and I'm going to dip one heel and the opposite arm to the floor, and then back to center. Remember, you can keep one foot flat on the floor and work on one side, doing 5 or 6 on one side, and 5 or 6 on the other. So you've got some choices. If you want a little bit more than this, and you want to make this a little bit more challenging, then you can always lift your head and shoulders off of the mat. That's one choice. The other choice is to send your foot away on a 45-degree angle whilst keeping your head and shoulders off the floor. So you've got some real choices today of what you want to do. I'm going to keep my head and shoulders on the floor, thank you very much. And if we're really thinking about all of our Pilates different butts and bobs, then we are breathing in on the out, on the way down I should say, and out on the way up. And in, and out. And we're really trying to get that angle, that dip of the leg to come from the hip. So see, as I'm moving from the hip, not dipping my toe down from the knee like that. So that's quite different. I'm going to do 4 more. Lifting the shoulders slightly to get a bit of lengthening in the arms. 2 more for me. And my last one. Good. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Give it a little squeeze. And then if you can, just roll yourself up to sitting today. Yeah, we're going to do a couple of other bits while sitting. I'm going to have a little wiggle. So we did something similar last time, and you can use your cushion if you would like as an extra support on the lower part of your back. Remember, none of this is a lighter version, it's just supporting your lower back, which is most of our weak spots. So I'm going to use my cushion. I'm just going to adjust myself so you can see it better, like so. I'm sitting up nice and tall, so I'm really finding that lovely line that we had at the beginning of class, when we were finding that elevator line. It's just going from hip to shoulder now. So I'm still really, really stacked. My shoulders are down, so give them a roll if you like, pull them down. Arms are lengthened. I'm not overstretching or over-sending my rib cage out. I'm finding that nice length. I take a nice deep breath in, and I'm going to drop my chin on my chest and curling down, but I'm only going to do about halfway to there. And then I come back up, and then I'm going to do a little twist. And I'm going to go again. So tucking my chin in my chest, really rounding my back, squeezing my tummy in, and then sitting up nice and tall, getting my fingertips behind my ears, a little twist the other way. And again, breathing in. Shoulders are down, chin relaxed. Action comes from the middle of the back, coming down, being supported by my cushion. Coming back up. Fingers behind the ears, lovely twist. And breathing in. And out. Curling, curling, curling. Breathing in. And out. Breathing in. And out. We're going to do one more of those on each side. So breathing in. Long neck, and then let it go. Like you're deflating like a balloon. And then sending everything forward, stacking up, sitting very tall, fingertips behind the ears as you twist. Use that eye line. Remember how important that is. Really see the space that you're in. One more on the other side. Rolling down. Chin goes first. Lengthening as if someone's been pulling you up by your fingers. Fingertips behind, breath in. And a twist. And back to center. And relax. Okay, just sit forward. Give your toes a little tickle. So even though you've been supported, you can probably feel that in your lower back. But that's okay. That's all right. I'm going to take that cushion and I'm going to put it back over there. I know that when LP teaches this class, and she's so good at it, it's infuriating. She does the whole roll down and the whole roll back up again. Now, those of you that do this class have done it with me and LP, you'll know that I can roll down, so getting back up a bit, I can't struggle with. And I'm still no good at it. I've been really practicing. I think I've got something wrong with me. I'm going to put it down to a medical problem. So we're just going to do one roll down, and then we're going to stay down there. Okay? Yay! So I'm going to take a nice deep breath in. But we're going to go as slowly as we can. So I take a breath in, and I'm curling in my pelvis first as I breathe out. Now you're going to have to take a few breaths on this, so don't try and do it in one. I'm lengthening my fingers away, and I'm trying to get every vertebrae of my spine into contact with the mat, one at a time, without caving in. Oh, what's that? Whoa, hey, see, I can do it on the way down. I cannot do it on the way up. I tell you that for nothing. So we're not doing it on the way back up again, you'll be pleased to know. Right, I've left us some proper time for some nice stretching today, but we are going to do some hip raises because we know that they're a good favourite. So actually you don't want your cushion feet hip raise. So I've got my feet nice and flat on the floor. I'm finding that lovely flat space for my Bermuda triangle, and I'm also thinking of the tram lines I'm in. I'm bringing my shoulders down into the base of my spine. I'm rotating my wrists to let my hands relax by the side. Letting all the tension in my hips go, giving my pelvic floor a little squeeze, and my belt a little squeeze as well, just reminding them. Now your core will be working, it will be so switched on right now. There's a little more you can do to switch it on because it's been working so hard. When I take a nice deep breath in, and as I breathe out, I'm peeling from my hip. I'm tilting my pelvis first. I'm peeling my whole back off of the floor. Now I don't want you to overarch. I just want you to really stretch. Feel like a lovely lengthening from my kneecaps all the way down to my shoulders. So don't overdo it. Just imagine the energy coming out your kneecaps. You're trying to send them to the opposite side of the room. I take a breath in and I reverse the action. So as I breathe out, by trying to get the in-between of my shoulder blades into the mat first. One vertebrae at a time, all the way down, through that middle part of the spine. And then you get to your hips, and you let it go. So we're going to do 2 more of those. So breathing in, tilting the pelvis. Oh, hello, the cat's here. Which one's that? Kevin. Hello, Kevin. Oh, we might come and say hello to you in a minute. I apologise now if you just get a camera shot full of cat. It might happen. And breathing out on the way down. So this is such a good one. It's a really good all over one, but excellent, especially if you have an irritated lower back. So I'm really sending the energy up, breathing in. When I'm there, breathing out and letting it deflate. The rib cage deflates. We're thinking of every vertebrae all the way down. You're naturally squeezing the pelvic floor to control your hips down. And relax. Ah, good. Right, legs go out nice and stretched. Just want you to take your hands up above you and directly above you, parallel. And you're going to lift your fingers up so your shoulders come off the floor, but just the outsides of your shoulders. And then release them back down. And again, breathing in. And breathing out. And again, breathing in. And out. And one more of those, breathing in. And out. Let the arms float down. Lovely. Hands go down to the floor. Wrists rotate. Palms facing upwards. I'm going to put my foot flat on the floor. And I'm just crossing my ankle over my knee. So I'm letting that hip do what it needs to do, but I'm not forcing it out. Nor are we going to do this stretch either, because I personally don't get on with that stretch. But just here now, we're just going to let your feet sink to one side and then all the way to the other. Okay, actually I'm going to have to move it so slightly. All the way to the other. So as far as it can comfortably go, keeping your shoulder blades on the floor all the time. So just a little seesaw. So take your time, and if you feel like you sink over to one side and, oh, that feels lovely, then stay there. Then stay there. Think about where your shoulders are. Draw them down to the middle of the back. Just take your time. So starting to little stretch. Getting ready to finish. Make this one your last one. And draw it back to center. And we're just going to very simply swap legs. So that top leg goes down. My ankle crosses over. I just let that knee open out. And we're just letting it go down towards the floor. So shoulders are staying on the floor. And I'm just letting gravity do all the work. So tipping like a boat on the ocean. Just happily bobbing from one side to the other. Oh, look, I managed to... I was just about to say, look, I managed to put my foot into one of the gaps. No, well, I did, but I managed to kick something over at the same time. How very relaxing of me. So, yeah, take those moments of pause. Think about where your shoulders are going. The rotation of the hips will allow your shoulders to ride up towards your ears. So do be thoughtful about bringing them back down. We'll make that one your last one. And bring it back to center. So we're now going to take your feet up towards the ceiling. And just give your feet a little shake. So this is really good if you spend a lot of time standing up. So there's a lot of focus on everybody spending a lot of time sitting down at desks, but lots of us, I know that there's a couple of us on tonight, who spend a lot of their time or entire time of their job standing up. So this is really, really good. If you can hold on to the backs of your legs and just, they don't have to be dead straight, but just letting the blood drain from your legs. This is a really good one to do if you're near a wall and you have your legs up a wall. It's a really good one. And then just flex your feet and then relax and have a little rock. And then stretch your feet. And relax. We'll do one more of those. Really stretch. Let the blood drain. This is a really good one as well if you suffer with not sleeping very well. I don't know why, but if you do this before you go to bed, it often really helps. And then just let your feet sink back down into your mat. So we're going to just adjust ourselves to take a few minutes of full relaxation. So make yourself comfortable, grab your cushion if you want to, grab a blanket if you want to, however you like to be, find your comfy place. You probably know by now, we've all done this a few times now, where your comfy place is, whether you like to be curled up on your side or whether you quite like being laid on your back. So find your comfy place. And then really sink into it. So we take our mind first of all into our breathing. And today we're going to start really focusing on colours today. So if you take your mind into your breath, think about your shoulders being pulled down a little bit. Make some space between your earlobes and your shoulders. Wherever you choose to lie, be nice and heavy. Let the hips relax if you're lying on your back. Let your feet and your knees just gently relax out towards the sides. If you're lying on your back as well, and you can let your wrists rotate so your knuckles are heavy into the floor, that's also very relaxing. And then take your mind into your breathing. We're going to start by taking some lovely deep breaths in through the nose. And out through the mouth. And as always, really think about that feeling of really filling the lungs by breathing through the nose. And feel the warmth of your breath as you exhale. Take in what you can hear. Maybe you can hear other people in your home. I can hear the wind outside, it's really loud. It's quite nice, it's quite relaxing. So take in those other senses first of all. And feel grateful for the sounds rather than agitated for them. Feel grateful that what you can hear, whether it be other people in your home or the wind howling outside, that you are inside and you're warm and you're safe. And as we continue to relax and breathe, let the natural curve in your spine be where it needs to be. Notice the weight in your hips. Relax your jaw, give it a little wiggle. Screw your face up, give your face a really good squeeze, and then just let it all go nice and relaxed. Notice how heavy your shoulders are. Notice how relaxed your breathing has become already. How much deeper it is. Now I want you to imagine that every time you breathe in, it's one colour, and every time you breathe out, it's a different colour. So when you breathe in, it's your favourite colour. And fill yourself with that lovely, gorgeous colour that you love, your go-to colour, the colour that makes you feel happy. It might be a colour that you choose to wear, it might be a colour that you never wear, but you love it. And when you breathe out, let that breath out be a colour that it's not your favourite colour. And let that out. Let all that colour out. So when you're breathing in your favourite colour, you're filling yourself with that lovely feeling that that colour gives you when you see it. And we're transforming the breath when you're breathing out, sending out any bad vibes, any anxiety, any stress you've suffered through this week or this month or this year, or any worries is all coming out in that transfer of colour. And the more you breathe in through your nose, the more you fill yourself with that lovely colour. Until soon, Everything you breathe in becomes the same colour when you breathe it out. The cycle is finished, all the anxiety is gone, all the feeling of stress and worry is gone, and everything you breathe in is wonderful and joyful and feelings of gratitude, and everything you breathe out, you're sending all that joy out as well, into the place that you're in, into the people that you're with. Nice deep breaths. And as that cycle of breathing becomes one gorgeous colour, notice how relaxed your body is, how there's no tension anymore. Notice how the tension in your face has changed. Maybe there's a half a smile there. Just by sending your mind into a colour of joy has made your whole being feel lighter, more relaxed, happier. And as this session comes to an end, and I can take an opportunity to thank you, and thank you also for giving yourself this hour each week. I remind you that you don't need to do anything, you don't need to move, you can stay in this lovely relaxed state for as long as you like. And the session will end all by itself, like magic. So keep taking those breaths, keep finding that colour and enjoying it. And the session will end after the next 3 breaths. So I'm taking a nice deep breath in, feeling myself with that colour. And as I breathe out, I feel that joy of that colour coming out too. Feeling my space. And another breath, breathing in. And breathing out. And the day's final breath for me, breathing in. And breathing out.